In this video, we're going to look at compound inequalities. So the word compound means we have more than one inequality. So here we have some real-life examples. The first one is about the temperature. So let's say the highest temperature today is 43 degrees. So that means the temperature today is going to be 43 or below. And the lowest temperature is 25, so that means the temperature today is also going to be 25 and above. And notice that the actual temperature will be between 25 and 43. So these two, we have two requirements, as you can see here, and they are joined by the word and. So we have to meet both requirements. And you can see these numbers here. If I highlight these, they are under both the red line and the black line. Now, the second example, if you are a senior, so usually let's say senior is 65 years old and above, or toddler, let's say it's 3 years and below, and you may get discount. So notice that we also have two inequalities, just like we had here. So this one we had, it's the temperature less than or equal to 43 degrees, and the temperature is greater than or equal to 25 degrees. So, and these two inequalities are joined by the word and. But here, the age is greater than or equal to 65, and a toddler age is less than or equal to 3. And notice these two inequalities are joined by the word or. Okay, so a lot of times in real life, people don't really distinguish between and or. In mathematics, they are very different. So here, I'm going to use, we're going to look at these 8 different cases here, and to help us understand the difference. And so what I'm going to use is going to be a example, a game, which is called natural disaster. So little kids usually play Roblox games, and then that's one of the games. And so in the game, there are all kinds of natural disasters, so like a meteor storm or earthquake or hailstorm, all kinds of natural disasters, and everybody in the game is supposed to find a place to hide. And if you don't find a safe place, you may be hit by a hail or a meteor, and you may die in the game, may not survive. So we're going to use that as an example for compound inequalities. And notice in these 8 examples here, some of them, in each case, we always have 2 inequalities. But some of them are joined by the word and. So 4 of them, we have and. And the other 4, we have the word or and the or. So we're going to help you understand the difference, and we can use the game as a example. So let's see, we have, whenever we have the word and usually it comes from both end. So we need to meet both requirements. But or usually means either or. So you don't have to meet both requirements. If you meet one of them, that is good enough. But of course, if you meet both, that would be even better. So both and case, that's a much stronger requirement than either or case. So whenever you see an and case, you imagine there are going to be 2 storms. So it's a stronger storm. So let's say there's a meteor storm, there's a hailstorm, there's also a meteor storm. So we need to find places to hide. So the first thing we do is, let's say x is greater than or equal to 3. So I'm going to graph x on the number line. So although we have two inequalities, because it's the same one problem, we just need a one number line. So we're going to draw the numbers. So x is greater than or equal to 3. We're going to draw numbers, a graph to show all the numbers greater than or equal to 3. So imagine this, think of this as a cover we set up, like a tent. And then the second one says x is greater than or equal to 5. I'm going to use a different color. And starting at 5, because 5 is bigger than 3, so I'm going to put it to the right of 3. And we all the numbers greater than or equal to 5, starting from 5 and move to the right. And goes on forever. So the arrows indicate they both go on forever. In real life, of course, we cannot set up a tent that long, infinitely long forever. But imagine if we are able to do that. So we have two colors of tents, and we have the red one and the black one. So because again, both ends means we have two storms, let's say hailstorm and a meteor storm. So you're going to find a safe spot so you can hide and you will not be hit by either hail or a piece of hail or a piece of meteor. So what you're gonna have to, because there are two storms, they're much stronger. So you need to find two layers of covering. So maybe after the hailstorm, you still the first cover is gone, and then you still have the second cover, so you will still be safe under after two storms. So if we look at this number line, imagine the number line as the ground, and so we have a red cover, and we also have the black cover, and we need to find a place on the ground. A place on the ground such that you have two layers of covering. So as you can see here, that we have the only spot will be from 5 to infinity. So I'm going to highlight that from starting at 5, and it will go on to the right forever. Okay, and when you look up, if you look up, use a different color. So when you look up, you have one layer, that's the black cover, and there's also a red one. So if you're standing here, you're going to be safe. Maybe after the first hailstorm, the red one's gone, but when the meteor storm comes, you still have the second layer, which means you're still going to be safe. But anywhere else, it's not going to be safe, because if you're going to stand here, there's only one layer. So after maybe the hailstorm, and then yeah, when the meteor storm comes and you don't have any covering, you will be hit, and so you will die in the game. Okay, so that's the answer. So there are two steps when you do deal with a compound inequality. So first, since we have two inequalities, so you're gonna have to graph both of them on the same number line. And next, the second step, the final step, is to determine the final solution. So what you need to do is to find all the safe spots, not just the one spot. And you need to find all the safe spots on the ground, which is on the number line. And as you can see here, as you can see right here, from 5 to infinity, I can use the interim rotation to describe that. Starting from 5, including 5, and the bracket indicates that 5 is included. So if you stand right at 5, the spot, the corner, you will still be good. You will still be safe, because there's a cover, black cover and the red cover, and from to infinity. So that's the final answer after combining these two inequalities. Okay, so next we're going to look at either or case. So notice that the first one is still x is greater than or equal to 3. So we're going to set up the red cover, the red tent, the same way. And then the second one is still greater than or equal to 5. So we set up the second one exactly the same way. But this time, because the word joining them is or, not and. So or means you don't need both. So there's only going to be one storm coming. It's not as strong as two storms. So if you can find at least a place with at least one cover, then you will be safe. So when we look at the number line here, any place from starting at 3 and all the way to the right will be safe, because when you look up, you can see that anywhere here, if you look up, you have a cover. You are undercover. If you're undercover, then you are safe. Again, or either or means we only have one storm. We don't have a very strong storm. So again, and is much stronger, but imagine that you have two storms coming, and or you only have one storm, so you don't really need two covers. But let's say here, if you are under two covers, that would be even better, because that would be even safer. Although you don't need the two covers, and I mean, two is definitely going to be definitely going to keep you safe. So all the safe spots will be from 3 to infinity. So whether you, because this time we don't really need 2 layers, we just need 1 layer. So even if you're standing here, you will still be safe. So the answer would be from 3, including the spot 3, all the way to infinity. All right, so the rest, if you understand the differences between and or, and the rest of the questions will be very similar. So I'm going to go ahead and, again, the first step, graph both inequalities. So this time, since x is a number less than 3, so when I set up the red tent, I'm going to have to make it go left. And I am going to go ahead and do the second one here. And since x is also less than or equal to 3, so I'm going to go ahead and do this, both examples together. Okay, now I'm going to switch the color. The second inequality says x is greater than or equal to 5, so I'm going to do that. I'm sorry, less than, not greater than. So I'm going to make it go left also. All the numbers less than or equal to 5, so go left. And same thing here, x is less than or equal to 5, so I'll make it go left, and it goes on forever. Okay, so now we're going to look at the keywords. So after you finish the first step, join the graphs for both. Now we're going to look at the word joining in. So if it's and, 2 storms, so that means you need double layers. And to look at the number line, and notice that the only place with double layers will be starting from 3 and move to the left. So that gives us negative infinity to 3. So keep this in mind. On the number line, it can go, the 0 is kind of like in the middle, and if you move on to the right, you will reach positive infinity. The plus sign can be omitted, but when you move to the left, you will reach negative infinity, but the minus sign cannot be omitted. So that's why I have to put a minus here. But for positive infinity, you can put a plus sign there, or you just omit it. Okay, so we have, that would be all the safe spots. If you don't have a highlighter, you can use, you can shade these numbers, or use like a squiggly lines. Now next, or, and remember, or is not as strong, so we only have 1 storm coming, and so if you can find a place with the 1 cover, and that would be good. So as you can see here, all the safe spots will be starting from 5 to left, and the interpretation will be from negative infinity to 5. When we write down interpretation, we always start from the smallest first, and then the largest. Although when we say it, we may say it goes from starting from 5, move to negative infinity. But when we use interpretation, we have to start from negative infinity. Okay, so for the last 4, I am going to go ahead and do all of them together. So x is greater than 3. So to save me time not switching colors, I'm going to do all of them together. So x is greater than 3, and this one is x less than or equal to 3, and this one is x less than or equal to 3, and the other one we have x less than or equal to 5, and this one is also x less than or equal to 5, the second one. But this one is x is greater than or equal to 5, and x greater than or equal to 5. Okay, so remember, and means we look for double covers, and as you can see here, only place with double covers will be here, and 1 cover This one's all of them. And this case, we cannot find any place with double covers. So you would just say no solution. No solution. And the last one, because of the word or, so we're gonna find the place with one covers. Okay, so as you can see, again, and means double layers. So and means double layers, and this one is double layers. This one is single layers, single layers. And you can see double layers right here. It has to be between 3 and 5. The interpretation would be this. And if you look up, you got 2 layers. But here, only 1 layer. On here, only 1 layer. But when the keyword is or, you only need a 1 layer. And as you can see here, whether anywhere on the number line will be safe, because if you're standing here, you have 1 layer. If you're standing here, you have 1 layer, the red cover. But if you're standing between them, you have 2 layers. That just makes it even safer. We only need 1 layer, but if you have 2, it will still keep you safe. Okay, so the interpretation can be from negative infinity, because every number and every spot is safe, so it's going to be negative infinity to positive infinity. But for this case, as you can see, they don't overlap. These two tents don't overlap. So we cannot find a spot that is under double layers, which means there's no place, we can't find a place to hide. So you can either say no solution, or you can use empty set. This means nothing, no solution. And finally, or case 1 layer. So either here is 1 layer or there is 1 layer. So as you can see, if it's here, it's negative infinity to 3, or under the black cover, it's 5 to infinity. So remember the difference between and or. And you need double layers, but or you just need one single layer of covering.